Right, and we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for episode. What number are we on here? One, two, three, four, five. Episode 6. No, episode 7. I apologize. Episode 7 of 9. And today we are going to be choosing our centers in the Springbok World Cup Squad Builder Selection Show. As you can see, we've got a 23 out of 33 man squad, which means we've got just 10 positions that we do need to fill. Today we are going to be doing centers. Now it's getting a bit tricky now in terms of choosing the squad with regards to numbers of positions we allocate and stuff like that, because the Springboks in the 2019 World Cup listed 3 centers, I think 5 outside backs, and then 2 utility backs in France State, or a utility back, I think, in France State. I think actually really do even this the utility back, Warwick Lunt was. Either way, we've always sort of got that utility back sort of concept, just like we've got the utility forward concept now all of a sudden in Franco Mostert. So he's not even listed as a flanker or a lock, for example. So if we look at the last World Cup, Francois State in, like, for example, like the Wikipedia version is down as a center. So there are 4 centers. So the question comes, what do we classify as an outside back, as a utility back, and as a center? Because let's be honest, positions are quite fluid when it comes to the Springbok backline. I mean, you've got a JC KRIEL who's played on the wing and an outside center within the last 12 months. You've got Cheslin Colby who's played on the wing, done a bit of a stint at full back as well occasionally during injuries and stuff like that. You've got a Damian Williams who's played fly half, full back, wing, and also played minutes at inside center. So you've got him playing in 4 different positions over the last sort of year. Billy LaRue as well, mainly playing at full back, can go into the wing. So it's a difficult one when you look at that. Even Damien Lendi and Lekanyama both played in the wing for the box. So it's difficult to sort of understand exactly what the sort of parameters are regards to what each position is and how many players we want to put in each position. So today we're supposed to be doing centers. Now, my gut says I think we probably should look at about 4 centers, and we've got an extra spot that we can add to the back line, because this was the last World Cup was a 31-man squad. This is a 33-man squad. We have, however, added an extra forward. Yes, Visa was that extra forward that we did add. We've gone with 3 scrum halves, 2 fly halves. So in theory, I think we do have enough space. So we're gonna choose 4 centers today. Now that, for example, could mean you could put Francois Steyn as a center. He could be picked as a center, even though he's more of a utility back. Damian Williams could pick as a center, but is more of an outside back, for being honest. Plays for the box, very rarely plays in at 12. I think he's never started there at 12. Has started a couple of matches at fly half, but probably very much our utility back in inverted commas. So personally, I'd like to sort of consider him an outside back, and I'd like to sort of put him in the squad on Wednesday, tomorrow, when we do that part. And then Thursday we're going to be choosing at final 23. So every day at 1 o'clock, jump in here and be part of the selection for this squad. But today we're doing centers. So you think of your Lekanya Arms, your David Elendis, your Andre Esterhazens, your Jesse Creels, your who are your outside options, for example. Who else do we want to potentially look at throwing in there? Cornel Hendricks, for example, wasn't an option about 2 years ago. I think people were talking about him, maybe not so much at the moment. I think Henk van Wyk, if he had played the full season, could have potentially been knocking on the doors. I'll tell you what, Dan du Plessis is playing pretty well at the moment. Ruan Null has been part of box squads before as well, and is in another URC final. So there are lots of centers out there, circuit centers, who are doing a very good job. Rob de Pre actually playing a bit of center as well over in the Premiership. So interesting to see what's going to happen. So Tian saying, hi Stevie, I would wager a month's wage that KRIEL is on the plane to France. No one else I trust on the biggest stage if I'm absent. I think that's, for me, a pretty spot on comment. We talk about, a lot of people don't like Jesse KRIEL. A lot of people are sitting there saying that he's not picked a merit and yada yada yada. It is difficult, seeing as, let's be honest, we've watched absolutely nothing of him post World Cup domestically. If you're telling me that you watched all his games in Japan, you're probably lying, to be honest. Nobody does. I mean, we watch highlights and we try to sort of catch up and see what's going on. Sometimes we'll see a clip of him here and there, but we don't watch him really regularly. That's the reality. A lot of people don't watch Japanese rugby, and nothing wrong with that. But you'd like to think that the Springbok management are watching these games, or have somebody watching these games saying, "Oh, listen, JC's doing well. He's not doing well. Whatever." And I think the biggest problem with JC KRIEL is that he's not Kanya. And I always said last year that, well, who is? at the end of the day. Who is? And I think that's the sort of his biggest problem is that last year, at one stage, Lekanya was one of the players of the year. Not outside centers of the year, players of the year. And now this is what we sort of compare JC KRIEL to, which is a harsh gig to be compared to. It's like, losing out on Ches and Colby and then expecting you to be Ches and Colby. Thankfully, we had Kofi Arnsa, who was like, sweet, I can do it. But it's always going to be difficult. Nobody can replace Ibn Etzebeth, for example. He's just one of those sort of players. Malcolm Marx, in the form he's in. Bongi Manambi is a great hooker, really good hooker. He's not Malcolm Marx, not the way Malcolm Marx is currently playing. So it's interesting to see what will happen with, if there are injured stuff like that. But let's stop beating around the bush, shall we? First of all, we got to choose an inside center, or we can just choose our number one center. So should we just make this easy and say who is the first center in the squad? And let's put in the 4 centers we had last year, shall we? And that is Damien Delindi, Lekanya Andre Esterhazen, and JC KRIEL. Let's just put those options in there, shall we? And then we can start adding other people to it. So I'm just going to throw that out, seeing as we need to choose a first center. So they might as well get the process going. So yeah, let's get voting, and then we've got 20 votes. I want to try and get up to 15 and 16 votes at least. Right, some of the comments saying Jesse KRIEL, the coach's favorite. How did that hope you well? Will says KRIEL is an experienced head and versatile, can have a decent partnership with Delenda too. Zach Kane, Damien, and Paul saying happy with with current selection so far. Well, there we go. So as I say, I'm very keen to see how this final squad is going to look. And yeah, we are currently voting for our first center into the squad. I'm pretty sure we know which will be the first 2 names. It then starts getting interesting when we add the second 2 names and who's going to get that sort of shout and stuff. So yeah, let's see what we've got going here, people. And we've got 13 votes. I want to try and get up to 15 votes at least, although I think mathematically it's not going to make much of a difference. But for me, it's more about seeing the interaction. I'd like to see you guys getting a bit more involved here. We've always got lots of people. We've got lots of people who are always in the comments or always watching, but not necessarily engaging. And that's frustrating because, it's supposed to be a fan thing. So we've got 16 votes, and I'm going to end it there. So our first name onto the list is none other than Lekanya, which is not a particularly big surprise if we're all being perfectly honest. There goes Lekanya into the side, and he will slot in there. We now need to do another poll. The question is, and I need names, is who can I add in as our 4th option? Because when you're putting in Damien Delindi, when you're putting in Andre Esterhazen, you're going to be putting in JC KRIEL. So the question is, who do we add now? Do we add a Francois Steyn? Do we add a Dan du Plessis? Do we add a Ruanel, for example? Who would we like to add to these 3 candidates? I'm pretty sure I know who's going to get the votes in this particular vote. But let's see. Let's throw it out there. Let's give me some names. Give me some names about who you guys are, who wants to see. Everyone's going no. I don't think it's a bad shout at all. And what else do we do? I think Dan du Plessis is probably a year too soon, but I'll tell you what, next year I'd really like to see him in the mix if he keeps playing like he is. I've been very, very impressed with what I've seen from Dan du Plessis so far this season. Was really hoping. To be fair, I've been a fan for him for a while. Actually, I also have watched. I've been asking the Lions to sign him for a couple of years now, when he wasn't really playing for the Stormers. So and that's not me trying to say I saw Dan du Plessis before you guys. I'm just very bleak that when he wasn't getting game time, we didn't decide to just go and clips what is now the former inside centre of the country. It's a bit sad, isn't it? But yes. So Aaron's saying no. Clinton saying Ruan Yats from Rensburg. I've got a Duplessis. I've got 3 Ruan Nels though, so we're gonna put in Ruan Nel. Similani is went to the Bulls. He's playing fullback. Has played very little at outer centre and has actually played a little rugby at all. Frustrating for him because I do think that he was on the Bok radar, and now he is firmly off it at the moment. So it's annoying. It's annoying. So we've got those 3 now, and interesting to see that Damien Delende obviously is leading the votes as you kind of expect. And the question is, can we get to 20 votes? Can we get to 20 votes? We've got 18 votes. I just want to make sure people know how to vote, because we can't have only half the people watching and voting. It's supposed to be a very collaborative effort. You guys are supposed to be guiding this process, and all I'm doing is facilitating it. You guys are the ones choosing the team. I'm just facilitating the process. So the question is, can we get up to 20 votes? There we go, 20 votes. And 85% of the votes do go to Damien Delende, which I don't think is too big of a surprise. So our incumbent centre partnership, people are still backing them to do the job. So it's quite interesting to see that, a lot of people actually haven't got really far away from what we probably think is our strongest 23. We're interested to see if that is our strongest 23 when we do the polls. So the next question is at this stage, I'm going to be probably putting in Dan du Plessis next alongside the rest. So Andre Esterhuizen, Jesse KRIEL, Ruan Nel. And are we all happy with Dan du Plessis? He seems to be the only other name really cut apart from Paul who wants to bring back Donnie Gerber from retirement. Might be able to do a job, never know. They say form is temporary, class is permanent. I'm not sure he'd be too keen, but hey, dude, needs must. So are we all happy with that? I'm gonna put in Dan du Plessis. I think that makes sense to me. He does seem to be the only other person that people have thrown out. Clinton did throw out a Rohan Jansen from Rensburg, so maybe that'll be the person we'll throw in after this. But we had 2 people going for Dan du Plessis, and 4 people going for Ruan Nel. So I went for Ruan Nel, but let's go with Dan du Plessis next, unless anybody else throws out an option. Any other options here before I post it out? I'm going to give you a minute. When it goes to 14, I'm throwing up the poll. What? Going once, going twice, still going more than twice, to be fair. Anybody else want to throw in? Anybody else? Nobody? Yeah, Baron's back in the Dan du Plessis chat, so let's just throw it up then, shall we? Right, so those are the 4 options for our 3rd centre in the squad. Right, Lekanya or Damien Delende go down. Who is stepping in? Who is going to step up to the plate and get the business done? Very interested to see how these votes go. Andre Esterhuizen with an early lead. Yes, KRIEL getting a bit of support, as well as Dan du Plessis. Not much backing on the Ruan Nel shout. Andre Esterhuizen still leading things, but Jesse KRIEL, Dan du Plessis coming back. Jesse KRIEL all of a sudden blowing level with Andre Esterhuizen. It's like watching horse racing. Maybe we should do forever equestrian, forever horse racing. Get some betting tips going, and just do a proper horse racing commentary. It'll be fun. It'll be happy. Alright, 16 votes. So we got to try to get over 20 votes for this. This is getting quite a lot. This is getting quite close. So we've got to get as many votes as possible into this one. There's 20 votes. Can we get more than 20 votes? And because it's quite close, and every vote now is making a bit of a difference. 21 votes. Let's see if we can get maybe 25 votes. Is that too optimistic to get 25 votes? 25 votes. There it is. That's what we like to see. Things you love to see, and that is 25 votes. Going to end the poll there. It was very close actually. So Andre said with 43% of the votes, just 9% more than Jesse KRIEL. He is the third name into the World Cup squad. So there we go. Right, now this is for me going to be the fun one. We've got to add a fourth option now. Now I'm going to need names for a fourth choice. So you're putting in Jesse KRIEL. We're putting in Dan du Plessis. We're putting in Ruan Nel. And I need a fourth option. Somebody else earlier said Rowan Jans van Rensburg. What just happened? Name man. Just get posted too early. So somebody else is back in the Van Rensburg shout. So at this stage, he's the one going in with everybody else. So Jesse KRIEL, Dan du Plessis. Anybody else back in the Rowan Jans van Rensburg shout? Yeah, everybody does seem back in the Rowan Jans van Rensburg. All right, there are your four options then, people. Now, this we need is going to be interesting. So I would like you guys to make sure you guys all vote. And let's see how we can. Let's see who we get. Let's see who's going to end up as our fourth choice. And then after this, we're going to have what 27 out of our 33, which means we're then going to pick 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to pick up 5 outside backs tomorrow. And then we can add an additional player. It can be a forward, it can be a backline player, it can be whoever we want. But tomorrow we're going to add 5 outside backs. So think of Willie Leroux, Cheslin Colby, Marcus Olma Pimpy, Curtly Arendse, Damian Willems, Spruan Corsi's playing for the World 15 this weekend, for example. Warwick Galant, people are still back in the Warwick Galant shout. Kane Moody, for example. Very interested to see how we whittle down to our 5 outside backs and who could be the other options there. So as I was saying, will Jesse KRIEL vote into the team of the season for the Japanese league? I don't think he made it. I think we had. The Kwaka Smith was the player of the season, by the way. I'm going to be doing a reaction video to his highlights. Today, in fact. So that should be quite cool. The 4 Springboks that made it into wasn't. It was Malcolm Marks, Kwaka Smith, Faf de Klerk, and PSJ Toy. They were all in the team of this season. Willie Leroux, by the way, had a great season. Didn't make it into the final team of the season, but had played really well. Bernard Foley was the 10. Other big names in there are Dylan Riley's there. Ozaki there at 14 from Suntai Goliath. Clark Smith picked at 8, by the way, interestingly enough. Cornelius says, I feel Andre Esteban deserves a reappearance. Nathan saying, Cornel Hendricks as a bolter. No idea, they're confirming that Jesse KRIEL didn't make it. Right, so interesting, Rowan Jans van Rensburg wasn't really an option until the last vote, and yet currently has the second most votes. 24 votes. If you can get to 25 votes, I'm going to close the poll. Can you guys get me to 25 votes? Can you do the good things and get us there? Do us solid. Right, 25 votes. Right, well, that's interesting. It's interesting. So the entire question of the show was, does Jesse KRIEL go to the World Cup? And according to you guys, the fans, he does. So that's quite interesting. I was interested to see if there's going to be 70 else that we might back. And then we have a 27 out of 33. We've got one more show left before the squad will be full. So tomorrow we need a big show. So set your reminders. I'm going to schedule the show right now, so you guys can go and set your reminders for it. I'll share it as well and stuff like that. We need to make tomorrow quite a big show so that we can really add, the final touch on the show. And then why is my thing does appear. There we go. Those are our centers. Those are our 4 centers. Akanya, Damien Delende, Andre Estes, and Jesse KRIEL. And on Thursday, we need an even bigger show because from our squad of 33, we're then going to choose a 23. A starting 15, a bench, 6-2 split, 5-3 split. Where are we going? We'll literally do a vote on a 5-3 split or a 6-3 split before we do the bench. So that's going to be quite cool. So basically what we're going to do on Thursday, we're going to choose a starting 15. So we're literally going to put a poll out like who starts at 1. And we're going to put in Steven Kitsoff, Oxenchair, and Thomas the Toy. We're going to say who starts at hooker with those 3 options. Who starts at tight head? Who starts at 4? And we're going to throw in all the locks. Who starts at 5, we'll throw in all the locks. Who starts at 6, we'll throw in all the options at 6, etc. We're going to go position by position by position to get to a 15. We're then going to choose 6-2, 5-3 split, and then we'll choose our bench. And by the end of it, we will then have first of all, a Springbok World Cup squad as chosen by the fans. And we will also then have a final 23. If we were to play in the final tomorrow, for example, who would make it. So Cornelius saying, Jess KRIEL is just good, well-rounded player. Clemente saying, Andre Estes is the best 12 in the world and the most feared player in the Gallagher Premiership. The only reason why Arons has scored tries in Italy was because Andre drew in 2 to 3 defenders. Yeah, listen, to call him the best 12 in the world is a hell of a statement. He's good. He's playing very well. But to call him the best 12 in the world is a very, very big statement. I mean, Jonathan Dante is playing some pretty impressive rugby at the moment. There's a guy called Samu Kurevi who's also not terrible. There's some pretty good inside centers at the moment. Owen Farrell's playing at inside center quite a lot these days. I mean, you're looking at, for example, Gary Ringrose or Robbie Henshaw's playing at inside center. I think they're pretty good as well. So yeah, look, as I said, there are lots of. I mean, you can throw him up there, but to call him the best 12 in the world, not sure I can confidently say he is. Tsepo saying tomorrow, Mapimpi, Colby, LaRue, Arons, and Moody Villains are tomorrow 6 remaining players. Well, there we go. Grant saying the 12 for La Rochelle's a monster. That is Jonathan Dante. Yeah, he's just childish, isn't he? Absolute power unit. He's 110 kg. Also a bit of into the mold of Andre Estes, and really, for example, to even sort of say that Andre Estes is categorically better than Damien Delende is a pretty big shout. But yes, anyway, we do have our centers. Those are our centers. So tomorrow we're going to add 6 more players. So we're going to add 5 outside backs, and then we're going to add a wild card pick. It could be anybody. It could be absolutely anybody. It could be a prop. It could be a hooker. It could be anybody. It could be any position. It could be a forward backline. It doesn't have to be a backline player at all. So it just needs to be an extra player because obviously this is a bigger squad than what we had last time. So technically we would only have space for 4 more players. We would have taken, probably actually would have been the same amount of forwards. We might have taken an extra forward out, but then we would have had 4 more players. So yeah. So please do join us tomorrow. As I said, I'm going to schedule the show right now, so you guys can go and just click on the little notification bell, so you'll get a notification when the show goes live, and we can try and get a lot of people in tomorrow and try and do a lot of voting. And then Thursday is going to be the really fun one, where we're going to take this big squad of ours and we're going to pick a final team. Thank you very much, people. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And I will see you guys all tomorrow.